This is cutaway view of Specimen Ridge, and you've got all these tree trunks, many of them passing through multiple layers. Well, if it took hundreds of thousands or millions of years to deposit a layer, or even tens of years, I'd like to know how the tree trunks didn't rot away or even weather if they had been completely buried and fossilized, and then the ground weathered away and a new layer built up. You don't have any weathering processes on the stumps here as you go up. Mount St. Helens, Spirit Lake, they actually dived into the floating debris, and they found at the bottom various stumps buried at different levels. Some of them loose enough that you could rock by hand, others very firmly buried into the debris in the bottom. Some are still floating, many of them are upright, some of them are laying down, prone. Also, when you dig up fossilized trees, you don't find roots. Maybe 3 feet long at the most. Now at the top of Spirit Lake, what's happening is all these logs are floating around and things are getting broken off because they're bumping into each other. Also, evolutionists claim that man and dinosaurs never lived together. Fred Flintstone, the second longest cartoon running, when it first came out, believe it or not, there was a controversy. Evolutionists said that we don't want to show the kids that because men and dinosaurs never lived together. These triceratops here and various dinosaurs were carved quite accurately by men. In fact, back when we thought there was a brontosaurus, but they had the wrong head on it, a photograph was taken of one of these stones that had a carving of a brontosaurus, but it didn't have the short stubby head that they thought was accurate. It had a longer head. This one has the stegosaurus here, triceratops. I can't identify all of these, but there's at least 5 different dinosaurs on that one.
1 minute.
This is probably my favorite. This is a bridle, and you have a rider sitting on his back. Down here, they're actually spearing them in the neck. This one apparently won the fight. He's bit the head off of somebody. This isn't the only place where you find evidence of accurately depicted dinosaurs around the world. These are all from South America. This is a petroglyph with the longer skull here, an Anasazi petroglyph. This is in the United States. The Nazca lions, there is actually one of them that's in the form of a dinosaur, but it was, depending on how the light is, as to how well the picture turns out. Now, there were stones that are fakes. There are fakes out there. In fact, the author of the book that I got these out of met the gentleman.
You can continue for a moment here.
Okay. This is cloth, higher thread count than modern cloth. No one's suggested that's ever been duplicated. And this is from Southeast Asia. The rondelle here is 16 to 18 inches on the outside, maybe a foot on the inside with Stegosaurus. They're found around the world because men around the world were living at the time of the dinosaurs, and that gets rid of 65 million years.
Oh, that's adorable. Where did you get that Ica or Ica dinosaur stone?
I'll give you a copy of the book.
Please, right.
Okay, now, do you want to split this up, or do you want to assign it?
Most of the books that are on this right here, and this is a lot of your questions, points, and assertions will be answered in detail. And this is a good book, Science and Earth History by Arthur Strahler. He's he's a geologist, and he goes into all the well, not all, but the standard objections to evolution, many of which you have brought up, and he treats them in detail. And another book on the biblical flood, a case study of the church's response to extra-biblical evidence by Davis A. Young, who is a professor of geology at a Christian college in, a self-consciously Christian college with strong denominational ties. And he's studying the biblical flood and the way Christians have dealt with this, and with scientific evidence concerning it. And he says some very, very relevant things. He is distressed by the anti-evolutionists who reject the scientific, the overwhelming weight of scientific evidence. I did want to speak on one point, which is the survival of the fittest. Mike says, as many people do, including some who should know better, that that's a truism. And to me, that's amazing. I think it shows how much evolutionary thought has entered into our culture, that we could even come up with a statement that this is a truism, because it's not at all obvious that those who survive are the fittest. But I think you were talking about fittest in the sense of being the most healthy or complex or something like that. In the biological or evolutionary sense, the fitness is fit, what am I trying to say, reproductive fitness. It doesn't mean how healthy, smart, strong, etc. you are, but how many grandchildren are you going to have. You're going to produce offspring that will survive and produce offspring. And Darwin's insight was that it's not just a matter of chance, whether, although there's a great deal of chance as to which of a group of offspring will survive. Chance plays a role. There are also other possibilities. It could be survival of the luckiest, or survival of the chosen, whether it's chosen by a breeder or by God or whatever. Or it could be survival of the most numerous, as you said. Darwin's insight was that, other things being equal, there are hereditary differences that do give some individuals a better chance of producing offspring that will survive and produce offspring. That's all it is.
Your cat.